Hello. Welcome to wherever we find ourselves. Um, this episode is going to be a little bit different. We've had a lot of stuff going on, and I'm just going to be solo on this one, talking um, just about some stuff that I have written down. Yeah, it may sound like it's really super scripted, but it's just something that I want to do. Um, so the first thing I need to do is apologize that we've been so quiet. We've been gone, and I know some of you may have noticed that silence wasn't about not caring. It wasn't about being lazy. It was about life being messy as hell. Um, the job changes, the stress, that everything shifting around us, the feeling of trying to keep our heads above the water, um, and the loss of my grandma. Um, that one, that one really, it really stung. Um, it did hurt. She wasn't just family by blood. She was one of the rare ones who actually cared like family. Um, so I went dark. We went dark. I didn't have the energy to upload, to perform, to keep pretending. But during the silence, I was thinking a lot, processing the shit that life throws at us and what it reveals about the people around you. And I keep going back to the same raw, painful truth. Family isn't just blood. Good friends, real friends, are rare as hell. And sometimes the people who share your blood are the first ones to stab you in the back, fuck you over, and leave you broken. That's what today's talk is going to be about. And I'm not going to sugarcoat a bunch of shit. I'm not dressing it up to make anyone comfortable. This is the truth as I've lived it. And and if you've been through it, you already know exactly what I'm talking about. Um, so the lies we were fed about family, since the time we were kids, we're fed the fairy tale blood is thicker than water. You've heard in the movies and songs, in family gatherings, it gets thrown in your face every time you push back against toxic relatives. It's the excuse behind every shitty act. Well, they're family. We've all fucking heard it. But let me tell you the truth. That phrase is a fucking lie. Blood doesn't guarantee loyalty. Blood doesn't guarantee respect. Blood doesn't guarantee love. All blood means is you share DNA. That's it. It's biology. It's not a commitment. People love to hide behind the word family. They'll mistreat you, betray you, use you, manipulate you, and then demand forgiveness because we're family. As if the word is some kind of magic wand that erases damage. But it doesn't, because the reality is family is proven by action, not by birth. I've seen parents who's walked away. I've seen siblings who stole from each other. I've seen uncles who'd rather gossip than help. And all of them hide behind the excuse of blood. But blood means nothing if loyalty isn't there. Blood is circumstance. Loyalty is a choice. The many ways family will fuck you over. So, just to go deeper, because saying family will fuck you over is a broad statement and it happens in 100 different ways. So let's maybe try to break a few of them down. Money, the root of exposure. Money changes everything. If you want to see someone's true colors, throw money in the mix. And that is 100% true. And they don't even have to be family. It's quote unquote friends also. Family members who love you when you're broke suddenly treat you like an ATM the second you get a little success. They'll borrow and never pay back. They'll forget the times you helped them. And death, that's when money rips families apart. Somebody dies, and suddenly it's not about grief. It's about inheritance. It's about possessions. It's about what somebody can fucking get and what they may have had, and trying to figure out how you can get a piece of it and not working for it your fucking self. Siblings crawl over the houses, cars, banks, banking accounts, cousins fighting over shit they didn't earn, people who never lifted a finger to help suddenly demanding their share. And I'm not just talking about my family, I'm just talking about in general because my cousins they're pretty good. Um, they're actually really good. Money exposes the ugly truth. A lot of people who love you or a lot of people who don't love you, they love what you can do for them. And when you stop giving, watch how fast family bonds disappear. And then there's favoritism, the poison of comparison. Parents pick themselves, pick favorites. Siblings compete. Some relatives give praise while others get picked apart. And if you weren't the golden child, you know exactly how that feels. You're the scapegoat, the one who never measures up, the one compared at every gathering, the one treated like you're less. And the wounds from the favoritism last a lifetime. They divide families, breed resentment, and leave scars that don't heal. The betrayal, too. That's betrayal, too. Not loud betrayal, but slow, corrosive poison. Being told you're less over and over just because you weren't the favorite. And then gossip, turning your pain into their entertainment. Family will gossip about you faster than strangers. They know your secrets. They know your past. They know your mistakes. And instead of protecting them, someone will weaponize it. They'll whisper behind your back. They'll share your struggles like it's a story for them to tell. They'll laugh at your pain and call it just talking. That's not family, that's betrayal. Because real family shields you, fake family exposes you, and blood doesn't stop people from being fake. Manipulation. This one is the most common weapon family uses. It's guilt. But I'm your mother, but I'm your brother, but we're blood. That's manipulation. It's not love, it's not loyalty, it's control. They'll guilt you into forgiving, into saying, into giving more of yourself than you have. They'll play the family card every time you try to get a boundary, and society will back them up, calling you ungrateful if you walk away. But here's the truth. Guilt isn't love. It's just another way of fucking you over. Abandonment. And then the abandonment issues. The family who swears we're always here for you, but disappears the second shit gets real. When you're in the hospital, they don't show up. When you lose your job, they go silent. When you're grieving, they're too busy. But let me hit a win. A promotion, a new house, success. They're in the front row, clapping, pretending they've been there the whole time. That's abandonment, that's betrayal, and that's family fucking you over by absence. The rare treasure is true friends. The light in the middle of this, it's called real friendship. A true friend is rarer than gold. You might only get 2 or 3 in your whole lifetime, but they're worth more than every fake relative combined. A true friend is the one who answers at 3 a.m., the one who celebrates your wins without jealousy, the one who carries you when you're too broken to walk, the one who protects your secrets instead of exposing them. Those people, they're family, not by blood, but by loyalty, not by name, but by choice. And once you find them, you protect them, you invest in them, because that's the real treasure in life. And I am fortunate enough to have one big man and that's a super good friend, and he's the other one in this podcast with me, Skilly. He came down to my grandma's funeral. He came down and helped empty out her house, helped move all the stuff, helped move my stuff, and never asked for anything, never asked for a dime, never asked for things, nothing. That is a fucking friend. That is a fucking brother. That meant more to me than he'll ever know. And maybe if he listens to this podcast, he'll find out. And then Alan. Alan is a straight up good guy. He has been there for me. He has helped me. He has helped me get jobs. He was there for funerals when when things were rough. We've worked together. We've broke bread together. He's family. He's a good man, and there's a few others that are like family. One that I went to high school with that's, got a couple kids and doing really good for himself, and I have one that I went to high school with that's not doing so good, and he's unfortunately locked up, and I miss him. I wish that he would have changed his path, changed his ways, but unfortunately that just didn't happen. Um, and hopefully when he gets out, it's a whole different story. But anyways, and then that just kind of puts me into my next thing, which is choosing your family. So this is the shift, the part that changes everything. You don't get to pick who you're related to, but you do get to pick who you call family. Blood doesn't entitle anyone to your loyalty. Loyalty is earned. So cut the toxic ones, walk away from the manipulators, set boundaries so strong Even your relatives can't cross them. And then pour yourself into the people who prove their love. Build your circle, protect it, because your circle will make or break you. At the end of the day, blood makes you related, loyalty makes you family. So when my grandma passed, it all became clear. Grief is a filter. It strips away illusion. It shows you who's real and who's not. Sorry for my phone going off. Some families stepped up, some vanished, some friends proved themselves more like family than my own blood. And I realized family isn't about who's supposed to be there. It's about who is there. That's when you stop chasing approval. That's when you stop begging for love from people who'll never give it. That's when you start building your chosen family. So let me close this part. Family isn't just blood. Blood doesn't guarantee shit. Good friends are rare. They're the real treasure. A blood family is sometimes they're the first to betray you, the first to fuck you over, the first to stab you in the back. But you don't have to accept that. You get to choose. You get to build your circle. You get to define your family. At the end of the day, blood might make you related, but loyalty makes you family, and loyalty is everything. And I didn't just realize all this when my grandma passed. It was my grandpa when he passed. It was the same kind of thing when my dad passed. It was fucking terrible. I had a stepbrother that was trying to tell me that he wasn't even my dad and my dad was somebody else. And I had to go so far as to get my DNA crap done from Ancestry.com and 23andMe and sent the motherfucker proof that he's a fucking idiot. And I haven't talked to him since. And it's just, it's crap that it's that way, but it's that way. So now here's the thing about betrayal. It doesn't always look the same. Sometimes it's loud and obvious, and sometimes it's quiet and sneaky. Sometimes it's one big blow up, and sometimes it's death by 1,000 cuts over years. And with family, they've got 100 different faces for betrayal because they've got access no stranger will ever get. They know where you're soft, they know where you're weak, where you're sensitive, and where shit goes sideways. And when shit goes sideways, they know exactly where to aim. So digging into it more of the ways family will fuck you over, because I want to shine a light on the things most people don't like to talk about. Some families turn everything into a competition. It's never about love. Never about support, never about celebrating each other. It's about who's doing better, who's making more money, whose kids are smarter, whose house is bigger. I've seen it. The constant measuring, the backhanded compliments. And if you're not the one winning, you're the disappointment. You're the one being compared. You're the one they use as an example of what not to be. That's betrayal too, because family shouldn't be about competition. It should be about collaboration, support, lifting each other up. But too often, family members act like more like rivals than allies. And instead of cheering you on, they secretly hope you fail so they can feel better about themselves. And another face of betrayal is jealousy. When your family, when you're finally starting to get going and do good, when you land the job, when you buy the house, when you get a little shine, instead of celebrating, some family members they play it down. They throw shade. They may say things like, "Well, must be nice," or "Don't forget where you came from." That's jealousy talking, and I can't tell you the amount of fucking times I've heard, "It must be nice," you know, especially, doing what I do for work, a job. People see what you make, but they don't see what you sacrifice and give up for what you make. They don't fucking do it. They can't do it. That's what makes it different. So, see, your success doesn't threaten real family. Real family is proud as hell. Real family claps the loudest, but fake family, blood that doesn't love you, they see your win as their loss. They see your shine as their shadow, and they'll do whatever they can to dim your light so so they don't have to face their own failures. Family will fuck you over by making your success feel like a sin, by turning what you should have been celebrating into tension, by refusing to be happy for you unless they're winning too. Another way family fucks you over is control. They'll try to dictate who you marry, what job you take, where you live, how you raise your kids, what religion to follow, and you step outside of their script. When you step outside of that script, suddenly you're the problem. You're the rebel. You're the one who doesn't care about family values. But let's be real, that's not love. That's control. That's them trying to live their life through you. That's them trying to mold you into something that benefits their image, not your happiness. And if you resist, they'll guilt you, they'll shame you, and they'll freeze you out. Family will fuck you over by trying to control you instead of accepting you. And the craziest part, they'll disguise it as love. We just want what's best for you. But what they really mean is, we want what's best for us, even if it destroys you. And you know what the fuck I'm talking about. Tradition can be another weapon. Families hide behind tradition as an excuse for control, abuse, and manipulation. We've heard, "This is just how we do things. In this family, we always." It's disrespectful if you don't. Tradition is fine when it's about connection, when it's about meaning, when it's about love. But too often, tradition becomes chains, a way to trap you, a way to force you into cycles you don't belong in. Family will fuck you over by weaponizing tradition, by making you feel like an outsider if you don't play along, by turning culture into control. And the irony, the same people screaming about tradition are the ones who don't live up to the values that tradition was supposed to represent in the first fucking place. Another betrayal is image. Some families care more about how they look on the outside than how they treat each other on the inside. They'll keep an appearance at church, at school, at social gatherings. They'll play the perfect family on Facebook, smile in pictures, matching outfits and all that shit, Sunday dinners, but behind closed doors, it's fucking chaos, it's abuse, it's neglect, and it's betrayal. And if you ever speak up, if you ever tell the truth about what's really happens in that house, suddenly you're the liar. You're the ungrateful one. You're the black sheep. Family will fuck you over by pretending their image instead of protecting you. Sorry, they'll fuck you over by protecting their image instead of protecting you. By choosing how they look to the world over how the love the people inside the walls. Religion is another one. Some families weaponize religion as a way to control, to shame, to guilt, to exclude. You're not living right. God wouldn't approve. In this family, we believe. And if you don't fall in line, you're treated like an outcast. You're judged, you're shamed, you're left behind. But here's the thing, love doesn't need a weapon. Real faith doesn't require control. And God doesn't play favorites. Family will fuck you over by pretending their abuse is holy, by disguising manipulation as righteousness, and it leaves scars deeper than most people realize because it mixes betrayal with something that's supposed to be sacred. Sometimes the worst betrayal isn't what isn't what family says or does, it's what they don't do. The silence. They don't defend you when people trash your name. They don't speak up when you're being wronged. They don't call to check in with you when they know you're hurting. Silence is betrayal too, because sometimes not showing up, saying more, says more than showing up, than not showing up says more than showing up ever could. Sorry. As the silence of family cuts deeper than the silence of strangers, because strangers don't owe you anything. But family, they should have been there and they weren't. Every family has a black sheep, and maybe you're it. I'm pretty fucking sure I'm it. The one who doesn't fit the mold, the one who doesn't play the game, the one who questions things, who sets boundaries, and who refuses to kiss somebody's fucking ass. And what happens? You get painted as the problem, the difficult one, the ungrateful one. That's betrayal too, because instead of accepting your individuality, family pushes you, or family punishes you for it. Instead of respecting your boundaries, they exile you for them. And here's the thing. being the black sheep hurts, but it's also freedom because once you realize you'll never fit into their mold, you stop trying. You stop breaking yourself to fit a system that was rigged against you from the fucking start. And you start building your own family, the one you chose, the one that loves you as you are. Obligation is one of the most toxic tools families use. They'll tell you you owe them because they raised you, because they're older, because you're blood. But love isn't debt, loyalty isn't obligation. Family will fuck you over by making you feel like you have to sacrifice yourself for them. And if you don't, you're a selfish piece of shit, you're ungrateful as hell, and you're fucking cold. But here's the truth. Obligation kills relationships. Real family doesn't keep score. Real family doesn't demand payment. Real family loves freely. If someone loves, if someone's love feels like debt, it's not love, it's manipulation. So the heart, the heart of it is loyalty costs something. It costs time, it costs energy, it costs sacrifice. It means showing up when it's inconvenient. It means defending when no one else will. It means standing by someone when everyone else walks away. And that's what loyalty, that's why loyalty is rare. Because most people don't want to pay the price. Families will demand loyalty without giving it. They'll demand sacrifice without offering it back. They'll expect everything while giving nothing. And that's why you have to stop measuring loyalty by blood. Measure it by actions. Measuring it by who pays the cost, not by who shares your last name. So all of this brings us here. The realization that blood isn't family and and family isn't blood. But we're only halfway through this fucked up conversation because next I want to dig into what it really means to be chosen family, to build chosen family, to protect your circle, to stop bleeding for people who wouldn't even bandage you. Because once you understand how family can fuck you over, the power is in your hands to choose better. So here's the shift right here. This is where you stop being a victim of the bloodline you were born into and start being the architect of your own circle. Chosen family. Because you don't get to pick your parents, you don't get to pick your siblings, you don't get to pick your last name. But you sure as hell get to pick who you trust, who you love, and who you give access to your fucking life. I'll say it again. For the people in the fucking back or who's not paying attention, blood is circumstance. Loyalty is choice. You don't need to keep toxic people around just because you share DNA. That's a fucking scam. That's a damn trap. That's obligation disguised as tradition. You can walk away. You can cut them off. You can say you may be blood, but you're not family, and you have every right to do it. And when you do, you create space for real family, the ones who choose, the ones who prove themselves, the ones who don't just share your name, but share your loyalty, your values, your heart. Chosen family is freedom, it's peace, it's healing after years of betrayal, it's realizing you don't need their approval to be whole. It's deciding that you'll define family on your terms, not theirs. So let's talk about how to recognize chosen family because it's not about who says the right words, it's about who shows up with the right actions. Real family defends you when you're not in the room, protects your secrets instead of exposing them, celebrates your wins without jealousy, shows up in your losses without judgment, calls you out when you're wrong, but never abandons you when you're broken. That's the checklist. It's not complicated, but the reason it's rare is because it costs something. It requires sacrifice, consistency, and honesty. And people don't want to put in that work. That's why chosen family is so precious. Because when you find those real people, though they're worth more than every fake relative and every toxic bloodline combined. So now this is the part people hate hearing. You can cut off toxic family. And no, it doesn't make you a bad fucking person. It doesn't make you ungrateful. It doesn't make you heartless. It makes you wise. Because here's the truth. Keeping toxic family around doesn't prove your loyalty. It proves your lack of boundaries. And the longer you tolerate betrayal, the more you bleed. Cut them off, walk away, block their number, skip holidays. And yeah, people will talk shit. Fuck them. They'll call you selfish. Who cares? They'll call you cold. Whatever. They'll call you ungrateful. But who cares? And you know what? They were never there when the knives were in your back. They were never felt the poison you had to swallow. They don't know the nights you cried because people who were supposed to love you. So fuck their opinions. Protect your peace because peace is more than fake family gatherings and forced smiles around toxic people. Sometimes you can't fully cut someone off. Maybe you live near them, maybe you work with them, maybe you've got complicated ties. That's where boundaries come in. Boundaries are how you stop betrayal from bleeding you dry. It's how you say, I'll deal with you on my terms, not yours. It's limiting the time you had to spend. It's refusing to discuss certain topics. It's not loaning money. It's not answering every call. And the thing about boundaries, toxic family will hate them because boundaries take away their control. Boundaries take away their power of manipulation. But boundaries aren't about them. They're about you. They're about protecting your mental health, your peace, and your energy. And if you can't respect your boundaries, If they can't respect your boundaries, that tells you everything you need to know. Fuck them. Let's lay it down plain and simple. Blood doesn't mean shit without loyalty. If you're family by blood, but you gossip about me, you're not family. If you're family by blood, but you abandon me when I need you, you're not family. If you're family by blood, but you manipulate me with guilt, you're not family. If you're family by blood, but you compete instead of celebrate, you're not family. If you're family by blood, but you only show up when it benefits you, you're not fucking family. Family isn't DNA. It's loyalty, love, consistency, and sacrifice. And here's the manifesto. If you've got my back, I'll have yours. If you show up for me, I'll show up for you. If you protect my name, I'll protect yours. If you stand with me in a storm, I'll stand with you in fire. Because that is family, that is loyalty, that is love, and that is everything. Everything else is just fucking noise. So the piece of a smaller circle. Here's something I've learned. It's better to have a small circle of real ones than a big crowd of fake. Some people chase numbers. They want hundreds of friends, a huge family gathering, a packed funeral someday. But me, I'll take 5 real motherfuckers over 50 fake ass people. I'll take 1 loyal ride or die over 10 flaky cousins. And I don't have 10 cousins, but I would. I'll take a chosen family over 3 who love unconditionally over a bloodline of 30 who only show up for drama. Peace comes with a smaller circle. Peace comes with people who don't drain you. Peace comes when you stop forcing relationships that were dead years ago. Your circle doesn't need to be big. It needs to be real. That's the difference. Think about it. That friend who showed up when you're in the hospital, that's family. That coworker who stuck by you even when everyone else was gossiping, that's family. That neighbor who checked in with you when your world was falling apart, that's family. That partner who believes in you when you don't believe in yourself, that's family. They may not share your blood, they may not share your name, but they share something far more important: loyalty. And at the end of the day, loyalty is the only DNA that matters. Now, let's talk about why it's so damn hard to let go of toxic blood. It's because we're conditioned since birth. We're told family is forever. We're told walking away is betrayal. We're told that being blood means unconditional forgiveness. And when you try to take a break, the guilt eats at you, the doubt eats at you. You start asking yourself, am I the bad guy? Am I ungrateful? Am I heartless? But the truth Letting go of toxic family isn't betrayal, it's survival. If someone poisons you over and over, blood doesn't make the poison less deadly. If someone betrays you again and again, blood doesn't make the betrayal less real. We cling to the blood because we're scared of being alone, but being alone is better than being surrounded by people who destroy you. Because once you clear that space, you make room for real family, the ones you choose, and that's worth everything. So let me talk about the black sheep for a second. The one who got exiled. And let me get a fucking drink. The one who got cut off and cut out because they refuse to play the game. You're not the problem, you're the proof. You're the proof that you don't have to bend to their bullshit. You're the proof that blood isn't everything. You're the proof that you can build a life outside of their control. And yeah, they'll talk shit. They'll swear your name. They'll tell people you're cold, selfish, ungrateful. But you know what? That's the price of freedom. That's the cost of peace. Because black sheep don't just survive, they thrive. They build chosen families. They create new traditions. They pass on their healthier values. The black sheep is the one who breaks the cycle, and breaking the cycle is the bravest thing you can ever do. All that leads up to the final piece: grief, loss, and perspective. Because nothing will reveal the truth about family like death. Nothing will strip away the mask faster than loss. And when my grandma passed, that's exactly what happened. I saw who showed up. I saw who disappeared. I saw who proved their loyalty. And I saw who proved they never really cared at all. And I saw who just was there for the things. Grief is the great revealer. And it forces you to face the truth. Blood is circumstance. Loyalty is choice. And in the final stretch of this talk, that's where I want to go. Straight into the fire of grief, straight into the lessons it teaches, and straight into the peace that comes on the other side. You don't really see the truth about people until somebody dies. Death doesn't just take a life, it exposes the living. It shows you who's real, who's fake, who's loyal, and who's selfish. When my grandma passed away, and many other relatives that have passed away, I watched people show their true colors. Some stepped up, some offered love, food, shoulder to lean on. They didn't ask what they get out of it. They just showed up. And others, they vanished. Silent, too busy, didn't even make the call. Didn't show at the funeral, didn't check in once. And if they did check in, it was just about themselves. That's when you realize blood doesn't guarantee presence. Blood doesn't guarantee loyalty. Blood doesn't guarantee they'll even show up to bury their own. And the ones who did show up, some of them weren't even blood. Some of them were friends, neighbors, people who had no obligation, but they came. They stood there. They carried part of the weight. Grief is the filter. It separates the ones who love you for the ones who just love the idea of being called family. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. So let's talk about what else happens when someone dies. The circus. The vulture circle. Suddenly, family you haven't heard from in years crawls out of the woodwork. Not to grieve, not to comfort, but to grab, to gossip, and to control. Who gets the house? Who gets the car? Who gets the furniture? Who gets the jewelry? Who gets the books? Who gets the plates? Who gets this and who gets that? It turns into a goddamn auction, and the grief, the real pain, gets shoved into the background. And if you're the one hurting the most, if you're the one closest to the loss, don't expect protection. Expect to fight. Expect to be questioned. Expect to be treated like the grief makes you weak. Death exposes greed, and greed exposes the truth. Blood doesn't stop people from fucking you over. Sometimes blood makes them feel even more entitled to do it. And then there's the silence. The calls you expect that never came, the visits that never happened, the check-ins that never showed up. And you sit there shattered, wondering how the people who should have been there for you could just ignore your pain. That's betrayal too. Because love doesn't vanish when life gets messy. Love leans in. Love shows up. If you can't pick up the phone when I'm burying someone I love, then don't fucking call yourself family. If you can't show up when I'm broken, then don't show up when I'm celebrating. Grief showed me that silence is as loud as betrayal. And it taught me to never mistake shared blood for shared loyalty. But here's the strange gift of grief. It burns away the bullshit. It's fire, it's destruction, but fire also cleanses. Grief makes you cut ties you should have cut years ago. It makes you stop chasing approval. It makes you stop tolerating fake ass smiles and forced fucking hugs and family gatherings. It pushes you to ask the hard questions. Who really loves me? Who really has my back? Who is worth my fucking time, my energy, and my loyalty? And once you answer those questions, you start rebuilding. Smaller circle, stronger foundation, cleaner life. Grief hurts like hell, but it leaves you with clarity, and clarity is worth its weight in gold. Let me talk about the freedom of walking away. When you finally cut toxic family loose, it feels like taking a 100-pound backpack you didn't realize you were carrying off of your shoulders. The phone doesn't ring when guilt trips anymore. The texts don't come with manipulation anymore. The holidays aren't battlefields anymore. You stop bracing yourself for betrayal because you stopped letting betrayers have access to your fucking life. And yeah, it's lonely at first. There are holes. There's grief. There's guilt. But then comes peace. Then comes relief. Then comes the realization that silence is better than abuse. Walking away is hard, but staying is harder. And once you choose freedom, you never want to go back. So here's the truth: you deserve a circle that claps when you win, comforts you when you lose. You deserve a circle that tells you the truth without stabbing you in the back. You deserve a circle that celebrates you for who you are, not who they want you to be. That's chosen family. That's the circle you build. And if it's only 3 people, good. 3 loyal ones are worth more than 30 fake ones. Your circle will define your peace. Your circle will define your strength. Your circle will define your future. Choice. So choose carefully, protect it fiercely, and never let blood guilt you into giving seats at your table to people who poison every meal. If you're the black sheep, let me say this clearly. You're not broken. You're not the problem. You're the one brave enough to break the cycle. Your legacy isn't being the outcast. Your legacy is building something new, healthier, stronger, and real. And maybe your kids will grow up in a circle that isn't poisoned by gossip, favoritism, manipulation, and fake traditions. Maybe they'll know family as loyalty, not blood. That's the gift that black sheep get. That's the power of being the one who walks away. That's the beginning of generational healing. So let me close this with no filter. Family isn't just blood. Blood doesn't guarantee shit. Blood family will lie to you, steal from you, gossip about you, compete with you, control you, manipulate you, guilt you, abandon you, and betray you. And they'll expect forgiveness because of DNA. But loyalty is thicker than blood. Love is thicker than blood. Respect is thicker than blood. Good friends, the rare ones, they are family. The people who show up, who sacrifice, who love you when it's inconvenient. They're the real brothers and sisters. And chosen family, that's the future. That's the circle you deserve. That's the peace you've been searching for. So stop bleeding for people who wouldn't even bandage you. Stop calling blood relatives family when they've proven they're not nothing but strangers with the same last name. Stop letting guilt keep you chained to people who've shown you nothing but betrayal. Build your circle, protect your peace, define family for yourself. But at the end of the day, blood might make you related, but loyalty makes you family, and loyalty is everything. And that's all I gotta say about that. I appreciate you staying around and for listening to my rant and my speech here. I am glad that I have some loyal motherfuckers that I can call my family more than just my friends. The boys that I play games with all the time that help me make it through the days that I'm away from home. My brother that's not blood that came all the way down to Kansas to help out and to be there without asking for anything. That's a real motherfucker right there. And I don't need a whole pile of friends, quote unquote. I have a lot of acquaintances. I have a lot of family. I have a few really good friends. And for that, I'm very appreciative. And thank you again for sticking around, for listening to this. And I hope you leave a comment, leave a like. Um, Tell me about your thoughts and what you think, and just leave me something to read, and I'll look at everything that you guys say, and just have a good day, and drop the fake family. Until the next time, take care of yourselves.